This is Rick and welcome to the King Sacrifice YouTube chess channel. So today in this video we are going to talk about one of the game that is mentioned on the attacking manual by Jacob Aagaard, who is a chess grandmaster and a famous chess author. So as the name of the book is Attacking Manual, you might have figured out that the game is going to be attacking. So with the white pieces it is Johnny Hector, and with the black pieces it is Erling Mortensen. So white played the move e4, black continued with the Sicilian opening, that is with c5, knight to f3, e6, d4, c captures on d4, knight captures on d4, knight to f6, knight to c3, d6. So this is the Scavenging variation, and after white plays the move g4, it turns out to be Carey's Panov variation of the Sicilian defense. So now black continues with h6, white plays h4, knight to c6, rook to g1. White is being aggressive on the king's side, so black plays h5, g captures on h5, knight captures on h5, bishop to g5. So here, queen to b6 can be played, whereafter white can continue with knight to b3. But in the game, knight to f6 was played, after which white played the move queen to d2. Black continued with queen to b6. Knight retreated to the b3. So now black played bishop to d7, bishop to e2, a6, h5. White just gave up his pawn, and after knight captured, the rook went back to the h1. So now black played the move g6 to protect the knight, and white castled on the queen side. And again white gave up a pawn on f2 and played e5. So now the pawn on e5 cannot be captured by either piece of the black. If captured with the pawn, then it will be the last mistake of black, because after queen captures on d7 it would be a mate. And if knight captures on e5, white can play knight to e4, attacking the d6, f6 and the queen at the same time. So the only best move for the queen is to move on the f5 square. So whenever the rook comes to h4, black can play d5 since it is attacked by the knight. So white can here really take on the h5 knight with this bishop, and notice that the rook cannot capture the bishop, because now after knight f6 check into d8, the rook can be captured, and you see the bishop is giving a check, so the knight cannot be recaptured. That was the idea. And if here, instead of king to d8, if king to e7, then it will be made after knight to d5, king to d6, queen to b4, king to c6, and knight to a5. So that is why instead of capturing on the h5, black played the move d captures on e4, and here after white captures on g6, queen captures on g6, white can capture on h8. So this could be played, but in the game, instead of capturing, the move into f5 was played. Now white played his king to b1, and now black played the move d5, just protecting the pawn. And now the rook went d to e1. Black played the move d4 with an idea that whenever the knight captures the d4 pawn, black can recapture, and if white captures the knight again, then he will lose his piece on the g5. And now black must be thinking that he is a piece up, and which is going to be very helpful for him. But here it is white who is holding all the advantages after knight e4. So now again the knight is eyeing on the d6 and the f6 square, also attacking the queen. So the queen went on to d8, And now white can regain his piece by capturing the knight on h5. So now you see the rook or the pawn cannot capture the bishop. For suppose if the rook captures, then he will immediately lose after knight to f6. So now he will have to give his queen in order to stay in the game. But if he plays the only king move, that is on e7, then he'll immediately get checkmated after queen to d6. So that is why in the game bishop to g7 was played, just protecting on the f6 square. Now white again sacrificed his piece on the g6 by capturing with the bishop. Now black capture on h1, rook captures on h1, black captures on g6. So now after white played the move knight to d6, black resigned because it is going to be a mate in 7 combination from now on. That is, after black plays king to e7, queen to h4 check, g5, queen captures on g5 check, king to f8, queen to f4 check, queen to f6, e captures on f6, a5, rook h8 check, bishop captures on h8, queen to h6, bishop to g7, and queen captures on g7 would be a check. So that is why, keeping that in mind, black resigned on the move 26 when white played the move knight to d6. So we just saw that how a dangerous attack can be played, and we also saw that it was a mistake of black that he didn't castle his king, and which was at the center when he resigned the game. So this was all about today's video, and for the next video I'm going to show another game from attacking manual, so keep watching King Sacrifice.